connect with all of you from all over the world, whether it's the morning time, the afternoon time, the evening time. So we're doing these live every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific time, which is my time anyways. And then after they're done, if you miss it, then you can watch it on the link that was sent to you via email. We have a page that's kind of password protected. The password is presence. And you can see all of the sessions there. So if you miss any session, all of those will be uploaded on that website. And you can always just email us at info@wisdom2conference.com. It's info@wisdom2conference.com if you have any questions. So, part of the reason I started this was in my own life and in all of many of my friends' lives, they're like, wow, the most important thing for me in a day is just to have some time with myself, some time in practice. And it's so hard to do that. Like the whole day goes by and I realize like I didn't even spend like 2 minutes meditating or 5 minutes meditating. I was just kind of completely in do mode. Or I spent like an hour on social media or an hour reading the news. And I really wished I'd spent some of that time just connecting with myself, because when I connect with myself, I'm better able to connect with other people and I don't get as anxious and nervous and angry and all these different tendencies that we have. So this group is really about supporting ourselves in doing the most important thing, which is knowing how to connect with ourselves so we can better connect with others and the planet. And so we don't kind of like miss our life. Life goes by and at the end of the day, sometimes it's hard to even remember what happened because we're so fast. We're moving so fast and we're so much kind of into go mode and do mode that we kind of miss these like moments. And I love the phrase that John Kabat-Zinn says, where he says, do you know those little moments? They're not little. There are no little moments. The moments we have with our partner, with our kids, with our friends, with ourselves, they're not little moments. They're our life. And part of what the beauty of mindfulness practice or meditation practice is we get to have more of a knowing of who we really are. And if we can't be at home with ourselves, if we can't be at peace with ourselves, if we can't be content with ourselves, it's really hard to navigate in the world because we're constantly seeking reassurance and value from either trying to be super successful or trying to prove ourselves to the world or trying to be a special type of identity in the world or think, oh, if I just become vice president or senior vice president or senior vice president, whatever those identities are, that maybe I'll be happy then. Maybe I'll be happy once I get this or once I get that or once I achieve this, once I achieve that. And it's very easy just to spend our whole life moving about seeking some other moment than the moment that we're in. The moment that we're in, there's always something wrong with the moment that we're in. Like it can't be this moment. Life can't be this moment. There has to be some other moment somewhere where life really, really, really happens. But this moment, no, it can't be this moment. So there's this continual seeking of the next moment. And that keeps a certain energy in our body moving and it keeps an orientation and anxiety that's just not very helpful. So one of the practices I want to really explore today, which is what does it mean to very gently and very kindly just keep reminding ourselves to come back to this moment right now. It's the only moment we have to live. Whatever happens after this moment is just a complete story in our head. Whatever happened before this moment it's just a thought. They're just a bunch of thoughts, and they're somewhat real thoughts or unreal thoughts. We can argue about that, but the most accessible moment is this moment. So part of the practice then, whether we have our eyes closed or have our eyes open, is can we keep coming back to, yeah, this is the moment of our life. And that way, when we're on our deathbed and we look back, hopefully these bazillions of moments that we lived, we'll have been present for more and more of them. We'll realize like life is not happening later on. And that when we do achieve that big thing we want, or we kind of finally get this or finally get that, it's just another moment. And often it can be very disappointing when we reach our, sometimes it can be satisfying, but sometimes it can be disappointing because we're constantly in this seeking of something else other than where we are. So part of what I wanted to do this month, or my hope and dream this month, is just we practice coming back. we support each other in coming back to what is really true and real. And it's this level of presence and consciousness and being that I think if anything's going to solve, climate change, if anything is going to solve the polarization that we feel, if anything's going to solve the war that we're going through in our world today, my inclination is that it's going to come through a new type of way of being. And that way of being is to fully show up as who we are in every moment as best we can. And allowing whatever thoughts and feelings also want to emerge, not running away from anything, but also not running towards anything. What does it mean to not run away from feelings and thoughts and emotions? And what does it mean to not run towards some hopeful fantasy of the future, but just to be right here, right now? So that's why I'm here. And it looks like there's 250 others of you, and we all get to be together. We get to practice together. So I have Alex here kind of helping us in if you have questions in the chat or something that comes up, she's going to be monitoring that. Again, deep bow and thank you to all of you who come up, who show up. Just so you know, I know that people live very busy lives. So if you can just join for the meditation and then you have to leave after the meditation, totally fine. Be here as long as you need. And then the kid needs to get to school, or the email needs to be sent to the bot, whatever needs to happen in your life. So feel free to kind of come and go. Of course, please, we'd love to have you for the hour, but if you can't make the entire hour, feel free to incorporate us into your life as best you can. So I'm going to encourage you to sit in a way that expresses both ease and presence. You may notice yourself just sitting a little more upright in your chair. And then see if you can find a position that you can hold for the next about 20, 25 minutes. I like to put my hands right on my knees. I like to extend my chest out slightly. And see ask your body, what would it look like to sit in a way that's very dignified? Not tense, just dignified. As best we can, we're going to try to keep this position. And if you need to move, is fine, but notice if you can be conscious of if you need to move. We're just going to be as still as possible. Of course, the mind isn't going to be still, but our bodies can be somewhat still. Probably the mind is going to be doing what the mind does. And then when you're ready, you can gently close your eyes. Just notice what it's like to connect inside with yourself. How does it feel in this moment right now to be with yourself? See if you can get a sense of what's true for you in this moment. What's the state of your mind, heart, being? See if you can just allow and welcome that. There might be a feeling of ease in your body. There might be a feeling of stress or worry, joy. See if you can notice what is the state of your being in this moment. And as best you can you just allow that to be here? Noticing the feeling of the breath, how the belly expands and contracts, the chest rises and falls. See if you can feel that rhythm or flow of the breath. And as best you can, see if you can allow your awareness to ride that flow or rhythm of the breath. Putting out the welcome mat as best you can for whatever shows up, be it pleasant thoughts, unpleasant thoughts, feelings, emotions. Having a sense of allowing, of welcoming. Not trying to change or fix or control anything. Just being as present for each moment as best you can. Right here, right now. Allowing whatever is to arise. Allowing things to pass when that time comes. Noticing any tension, noticing any desire to push away or to hold on. And as best you can, being present for whatever is here right now. If you notice your attention caught in some story or mind stream, see if you can very gently and kindly notice that. And just allow the breath again to become primary. And if there's a thought or feeling or emotion that's continues to arise and it's persistent, you can also bring your full attention to that. See if you can be present for whatever that is. As best you can, allowing whatever is to be, non-resistance to whatever is. Thoughts arise uninvited. We don't ask ourselves to think this or think that. We just come. Our job is simply to be present. not to control the thoughts, not to decide which thoughts we want or don't want. As best you can, being present for this moment right now. Doing possibly the hardest things humans can do, which is to stop and be with ourselves. Possibly nothing more important, or also more challenging than to be at ease, at peace, content, awake. Knowing who we are beyond our name, beyond our vocation, beyond our bank account, or our role in life as a mother or father, grandparent, or knowing who we are underneath all of those different roles. Possibly the most powerful capacity, ability we humans have is to be awake, to be aware, to be present. Just seeing if we can cultivate, support, strengthen that capacity in this moment. And our whole lives can be lived, and we can miss the most important thing. Or we can live our lives in connection and remembrance to the most important thing. Seeing for these last few minutes, inviting yourself to take each moment like it's first moment of your life, fresh, awake, and seeing each moment potentially as the last moment of your life, letting go, welcoming and letting go. And so slowly letting your eyes open and seeing if we can play with this idea that the meditation doesn't end. It's just now our eyes are open. And if you want, you can look around. If you go to gallery view, you can kind of look around and see the other humans who have chosen to also spend part of their morning remembering the most important thing and cultivating the most important thing. It's wonderful to see everybody from across the different places. For me, part of the practice is it's not about kind of like worrying or living in fear, like, oh shit, I better be present, or I'm going to regret it at the end of my life, or like not that energy. But it's also really, really important to remember that life is fleeting. And there's only so many moments. We only have so many heartbeats, and we never know when those heartbeats will end. And we don't know how many heartbeats we have left, but we know they're limited. And so how do we remind ourselves to do the things that are most important to our spirit and our heart? And some of that could be, spending hours and hours on Netflix a night, could be what our heart needs or wants. Or it also could be what our heart needs and wants is more time in nature, or more time actually truly connecting with another person or connecting with our body. And so while I don't think it's always helpful to live in fear, I also think it's also really helpful just to inquire, how am I spending my heartbeats? And does that feel aligned with what really, really matters to me? And if I'm not, how can I shift? And I feel like this group is a bunch of us who've gathered together for the month to see if we can investigate that. How are we spending our heartbeats? And of course, some time is really needed to be with ourselves in this way. I feel like mindfulness or meditation practice is really powerful. But then as we look out at the rest of our life, how does that feel to each one of us? How are heartbeats being spent? And again, it's not like there's a should, or it's better to spend your heartbeats this way than that way. But we each have this life to live, and we each have these moments to share. And how are we wanting to really express that? And when that last heartbeat happens, or that's later today, or 50 years from now, or 60 years from now, can we kind of receive that, knowing that we lived the life that we were called to live as best we could? So I've been talking a lot, and I want to stop talking, and I want to break you up into groups, and I want to give you a chance to just share with one another. And I would love to keep exploring this theme of heartbeats. In what ways are you spending your heartbeats right now in your life? And to what extent does that feel really good to you, or to what areas might you want a shift? Or you want to explore another approach? So just see if you can each have some time to answer this question. How are you spending your heartbeats today, and how does that feel? If you need to leave, feel free to go. I know some people have busy lives and they just come for the meditation, but it's also really important to build community so that we can kind of see that we're not alone. We're never alone. There's always whatever feeling, pain, misery we're going through, at least 1 million people probably on the planet are experiencing the same feeling, or same frustration, or same isolation, or same pain, or same joy as we are in that moment. So really, there's nothing that's like personal to us. So it really helps to connect with other people. The last minutes is really about whatever you want to use, however you want to use them. So if there's something that emerged for you in the meditation or in the small groups, and it's like, you know what, this would be really valuable to share with the whole group, we want to make some time for that to be shared. You don't have to have anything, and we won't have time for everybody. But if you're feeling like there's something inside you that is important for the rest of us to hear, or if you have a question for me or something that's emergent, you can go to reactions below, raise your hand, and we'll choose you, and you will have the floor to share whatever's on your heart. Looks like I see you, Amy, so I'm gonna ask you to unmute.
Thank you. And thank you, Soren, for organizing this practice twice a week, it's really helpful. I think the one thing that we talked about, one of the things we talked about was, for me anyway, was it's important to know moment by moment and to focus on that. One of our members said that she'd been in an exercise program, where a practice program where you counted the number of breaths that you had left in, you just sort of estimated. And I really believe that and feel that moment to moment is good, but I also really, in a loving way, and I think I'm hoping in a wise way, cling on to or hold on to being in the flow. That flow is as important and as knowing the moment to moment, they're related. Totally. And if I step out of my moment to moment, if I step into moment to moment, I can become less interrelated. Whereas if I can keep flow in my mind, then I'm interdependent and I'm aware of that interdependence. And that has a lot of, for me, really beautiful and powerful and healing.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Sometimes it's like sometimes it's good to narrow the spotlight kind of like this. And then sometimes the spotlight just expands everywhere. And we're just awake to the larger, I like the word flow a lot. And I don't think they're separate. I think it's just kind of a matter of like how much whether we want to kind of keep attention awareness like this, or we expand awareness out.
Right.
Yeah, but that's beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Looks like James, I see next. Let's see.
Yes. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you, or I can hear you.
Perfect. Perfect. So talking about how I'm spending my heartbeats, I'm reading this book called The Great Work of Your Life. I don't know if you're familiar with Stephen Cope. He's a highly regarded teacher, guru, eminary at Kripalu. And this talks about finding one's purpose. And it refers to the Bhagavad Gita and talks about the lessons that can be learned there. Anyways, for me, it has been very helpful deciding, am I doing what I really want to do, what really speaks to me? Beautiful. And try and embrace it, dive into it with everything you've got, but don't be worried about the outcome. It's a really important lesson for me.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. What was it that Krishna told Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita? I think it's like, don't identify with the actor, and then also don't identify with the results of your actions, if I remember correctly, which are two really good, interesting insights. I think so. John, I've seen you next. Let's see. Oops. Do you see the little option?
Hi.
Hi, John.
Hi, Soren. Thank you, guys. Thank all of you for being here. And I just wanted to speak specifically to the men that are here, just calculating in my head. You said that there were 250 people. Well, there's only about 40 gentlemen or so with us today. And I just wanted to suggest that perhaps it'd be really useful for you to get more men to come out of the closet. They don't express their feelings, their spirituality. They're less likely to practice. They're less likely to have this sense of connection. And it's, as Soren said earlier, the one thing that he feels might change the world is this sense of connection and community and realization that you're not separate. So I just wanted to share that. I'm noticing, and I've noticed for a long time, that men are kind of absent here.
Thank you. Yes, agreed. So if there's a man in your life that you can either somehow, you don't want to grab them or cajole them, or but I agree. I would love to make this more welcoming for men. I'm not quite sure how to do that, but they're important players in the stands. Also, I don't know so we're just doing this for a month. It's just kind of an experiment. And so I don't really have any big plans after this month. I'm trying to stay in the present moment. We are doing a month on relationships and different things, but one possibility is that this group continues to, in some degree, and we invite other people to join and kind of continue a process where we kind of finish our month, and then it's more of an ongoing thing that people can kind of join anytime. So I'm not sure if that's what it wants to do, but I really love being with all of you, and I really appreciate the fact that other people could be invited in or brought in. So thank you so much for that. And speaking of men, Ronnie, you appear to be a man. Can't judge from afar, but
dangerous guest nowadays. But I appreciate that, Soren. One thing Nunzia and I, who are partnered together, spoke about is how natural all of this is all around the world. We spoke, she's from Europe and I'm in Texas, and to watch people from all around the world do this naturally. And what you spoke about in your last breath, I've heard also in a different way that might resonate with a lot of men, but also just with athletes in general, is to think of life as a game or a sporting event where you can't see the clock. You don't know how much time you have left. How would you play that game? How would you strategize? How would you approach life? And so as a former athlete and a veteran also, that kind of little light bulb of fire for me. So thank you very much for having us, Soren.
thank you. Beautiful. Thank you. I love all the different parts of this. Like I love leading the meditation and just kind of being with you all. And I love kind of knowing that people can connect in a smaller group. But it's always sweet to just feel the wisdom of the crowd, you know, the wisdom of the community. And so we'll make sure that we always leave some space at the end just for your own teachings, your own heart's voice, and whatever's calling you to be spoken. So our next session is Tuesday, 8 a.m. live. So 8 a.m. Pacific time. I think is it Rhonda McGee, Alex Rhonda McGee, I think will be with us.
Yes.
All right. So Rhonda McGee will be with us, and then Trudy Goodman the next week, and then John Kabat-Zinn the following week. So thank you for joining us and just being present with yourself and with me and with the community. We are going to let everybody, unmute themselves, and maybe we can wish each other blessings as we go about our day or evening.
Bye, everyone.
You can unmute yourself.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Gracias.
Thanks, all.
Arigato. Ciao.